Alright boys, what's happening? Welcome back to another My Team video on the channel. Today we have the Singapore Grand Prix, or we were supposed to have the Singapore Grand Prix. So if you're confused as to why it says the Brazilian Grand Prix on the screen, just bear with me, I'll explain it all in a minute. But before we get into that, if you are new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you've been here, make sure you turn on that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a like on the video as well, aiming for 10 likes on all of these videos. As soon as we hit 10 likes, the next episode will come out. So if you want to see the next episode, get this video to 10 likes. But with that out the way, boys, today was supposed to be the Singapore Grand Prix. I'd edited up the video. It was an absolutely amazing video. I spent so many hours on it because I had to take a different approach to the edit. And it was such a good video, boys. It was such a good video, right? And then I went to record the next episode, but the way my MacBook works, with the storage on it, when I record a video, I have to make a video, then delete it to free up storage for the next video to come through for the series. If I want to, because I pre-record these episodes, of course, before they do go up onto the YouTube. I sometimes record in batches, so I was going through just deleting files to free up space to record the next video. And yeah, I decided to delete the Singapore Grand Prix file, thinking I'd uploaded it to YouTube already and scheduled it to upload, but I hadn't. So I just deleted the video. Now I've tried many ways to get the video back from the trash. Obviously I emptied the trash bin as well on the Mac to completely remove it and free up storage. I've tried so many ways, from Google, from YouTube, downloading softwares, trying to get the file back, and yeah, I had no luck. So here we are today with this video, and I'm just basically going to explain to you what happened in the race. So if you do remember, in the last video we did say at the end we're going to have to change our ICE components in the engine because it was worn, which obviously we're going to take a penalty for. So we went to Singapore. We went into practice. I was trying to drive it, first time driving the track this year on this game, and I had no pace at all around the track. Could not get a lap going, could not string a lap together. I thought this is impossible. I was coming like P20, I think, on my fastest lap. My fastest lap of the 3 practice sessions was P20. So I thought, you know what, we're taking a 5-place grid penalty anyway, or 10 place with the ICE change. We may as well just change the whole engine. So I ordered a new component for every single part of the engine, because obviously other parts are getting worn out, and I thought, while we're taking a grid penalty, we may as well go ahead and take, a big grid penalty, which you'll see on the screen now. When we went out into qualifying, we did have a 55 place grid penalty because of how much we did change the engine. 55 places. So that was just hilarious to me. I think just seeing 55 places, obviously there's only 22 drivers on the grid in the race, and that's 3 races back we're going to start. But yeah, 55 place grid penalty, going to start from P22 in the race, of course. We went into quali, didn't set a lap in quali, just retired straight away, because obviously there's no point in trying to set a lap in quali, because why would we set a lap? We've got a 55 place grid penalty. Even if we got P1, we'd be starting from the back of the grid, you know what I mean? So we just retired straight away in qualifying, and then we were going for the last to first challenge. Now on the screen right now, we are a few races later in my career mode, so I don't want to show too much, but on the screen now you can see the vehicle comparison chart. We are very close to overtaking Ferrari, and we are ahead of the AlphaTauri, the Alfa Romeo, Alpine, Haas and Williams by a significant amount. So we know we've got a lot more pace than those 3 cars right there. So going into the race, we started from P22. Callum Ilott started in P21. I don't know what happened to him. He qualified in P18 and started P21 in the race, so I don't know what happened to him. We also had Lance Stroll at the back of the grid on soft tyres, because Lance Stroll took a penalty for some reason. I'm not sure what happened with Stroll, but Stroll took a penalty. He was at the back of the grid on soft tyres. I think Callum Ilott started the race on hard tyres and was going for the one stop, hards into mediums. Lance would have been doing soft, medium, medium. We started on the medium tyres, 2-stop strategy, medium, medium, soft. And straight away, boys, into the race. After the first 3 laps, we were up into P18. We had so much pace. I don't know where the pace came from. Like I say, in practice, could not get a lap going, but we went ahead into the race, and we had so much pace, boys. We overtook Callum Ilott and Lance Stroll in a double overtake. Ilott and Stroll were battling side by side into a corner, and because they went side by side into a corner, Stroll was trying to defend and Ilott was trying to attack, and they went side by side, which allowed me to take the proper racing line. I got such good traction out of the corner and made a double overtake on those two. So it was boss. Honestly, boys, it was one of my best races I've ever done on this game. Like seriously, it was some of my best racing you would have ever seen me do. The overtakes were wild. You know, the racecraft in general, like the way we took the corners and defended and stuff like that. It was just an amazing race, boys. And like I say, obviously we are faster than. Let me go back to the screen now. We're faster than Williams, Haas, Alpine, Alfa Romeo, and AlphaTauri, and they were the only cars in front of us. Once we got past Stroll in that Aston Martin, which is obviously the third best car on the grid, we got past Stroll. The only cars in front of us were the Williams, Haas, Alpine, Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauris, all the way up to about P10. So I'm thinking, we have a faster car than these guys all the way up into P10. We could get into the points from P22, boys. Now, the reason why I'm so gutted about this race as well is because you know how much we go on about driver of the day on this series here. From P22 all the way up into P10 into the points, that would have guaranteed driver of the day pretty much, and we would have got that driver of the day and showcased that on the series. But anyway, boys, back into the race now. Obviously, we started on those medium tyres. The soft runners at the front pitted. I think we went up into about P7 because of the soft runners in the top 10 pitting. We made a good few more overtakes. Like I say, we overtook the Haas cars very easily. We overtook the Williams car. The Alpines were next. I was battling with Fernando Alonso for a while. Alonso was about 4 seconds in front of me, and I caught him within about 3 laps. So it just showed the pace that I did have around Singapore compared to the rest of the cars. I mean, obviously Alpine is the third worst car on the grid. You can see on the screen there. But Fernando Alonso, obviously a very good driver, experienced driver. We caught up to Alonso and overtook Alonso. And then if you're familiar with the Singapore circuit, over the bridge section, Alonso just didn't brake and just completely smashed into the back of us. So we did well not to take any damage there, I guess. Well, obviously did well because I didn't do anything, but we were very lucky not to take any damage. Alonso completely wrote off his front wing. It was so weird, boys. It was like he just didn't brake. He tried to late brake on us, but there was nowhere to overtake because it's such a thin line over that bridge section on Singapore. Like, you're coming over a bridge on a right-hander, but then instantly, like, as you turn right, you're braking to go left. So Alonso just smashed into the back of us. We had the 2 Mercedes behind Alonso then, because they were on the soft tyres, came out on the mediums, and the Mercedes were so far ahead, they came out of their pit stop behind me still. So obviously, and I hadn't pit yet. So that's how fast the Mercedes were. So the last to first challenge, obviously unrealistic anyway, because our car is not good enough to finish first. But we definitely had some serious pace. You know, we made another double overtake on Fernando Alonso and George Russell later on in the race. Once we did pit, we came out of the pits, made a double overtake on Alonso and Russell. Exact same thing with Ilott and Stroll. Them two were battling each other side by side through a corner. We opted to take the best racing line through the corner, get the best traction coming out of it, and just absolutely smoked past those two. So around about lap 14, I do think, is when we pit on the medium tyres. We came out of the pits, like I say, but when we did actually, in fact, no, the overtake on Alonso and Russell, was before the pits. So we made up a lot of places. When we came into the pits, we were actually in P3. It was only Lando Norris in P1 and Kimi Räikkönen in P2, and then us in P3. Then we came out of the pits behind Ilott and Stroll again. We were on much faster tyres, fresh mediums. Stroll was on fresh mediums because he'd pit from those softs, but Ilott was still on those hard tyres that he started the race on. So we absolutely blitzed past Callum Ilott. We were about to overtake Lance Stroll on lap 16 of the race, boys. Just before this though, Jeff got on the radio and said to us, there's a problem, they're looking into it. Well, how many times in this series have we heard Jeff say that and then he's not followed it up? Do you know what I mean? So I thought nothing of it. I've overtook Callum Ilott very easily. About to overtake Lance Stroll, boys, and Jeff gets on the radio, and you'll see on the screen right now what came up on the MFD. Jeff came up on the radio and said, there's been a mechanical failure. We need to pull over somewhere safe and retire the car. So you can see at the top now, Sasuke Gaming is retiring from the race due to mechanical failure. Boys, I was absolutely wounded. We go back to the vehicle chart now. You can see here the motor generator unit, the MGUH, motor generator unit heat. You can see it's red. It's 99% wear. This was a brand new component that we put into the car for this race, and after 16 laps, it completely failed. 99% wear. Failed. Our engine just completely blew. So, like you see in these videos, the smoke coming out the back of the car. That's what we were doing. We were smoking in Callum Ilot's face, and yeah, we had to retire the car, boys. But I was so devastated because we were so fast. We were gonna get driver of the day. We were so fast. We had a chance to get into the points from P22. Like, we were absolutely flying on a set of fresh mediums. Then we had a set of brand new softs to go to at the end of the race, which we would have had so much pace on. It would have been such a good race, and it was such a good race, the 16 laps that we did, which is why I'm so gutted that you didn't get to see it, because we did have a mechanical failure as well, and I can't really show you the standings now because we are a few races later, so I don't want to go to the standings and show you the points, because it'll spoil certain races coming up in the season. I don't want to show you where people finished, but I can confirm Lando Norris actually won the Singapore Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton came in P2 in the Singapore Grand Prix. And you're probably going to think I'm going to say Bottas in P3, but Bottas actually retired from the race. I don't know what happened to him, whether he crashed out or just mechanical failure. Obviously, we had to retire from the race on lap 16. Bottas was still in at that point, so I don't know what happened for the rest of the race. Bottas retired. P3, boys, was Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, which, as you can see on the R&D chart, we are significantly better than the AlphaTauri car. Like I say, we had so much pace. We could have caught maybe Pierre Gasly because the cars behind him as well. We had Yuki Tsunoda, who we could have easily passed in that AlphaTauri car. I think Ricciardo was there in his McLaren, obviously Seb Vettel. The Red Bulls, I think Sergio Perez came P7 or something crazy. I don't know what happened to the Red Bulls. Must have been a howler on strategy. Maybe he went for the one stop and just didn't have the pace on the hard tyres or something like that. But yeah, Pierre Gasly, who we did mention we might look at as being our next teammate for next season. Pierre Gasly got P3, got the podium, boys. So his stock is going to go up, of course, because of that. He's now a podium man in our series here. And Callum Ilott, our teammate, who of course got us the points in Russia in P10, a solid P13 in Monza. He ended up coming P17 in Singapore, which is obviously not the best result. You know, we do want to push for AlphaTauri. I can't show you the standings, like I say, but we are going to try and push and try and beat AlphaTauri this season. 4 points. But to do that, it's going to be so hard because I'm a one-man army in this car right now. Callum Ilott, he got us the points in obviously Russia, but to finish P17 in a race like that where we really needed points, because obviously I had to retire, it's just not good enough. You know, Pierre Gasly got the podium, P3. I can't even remember how many points P3 is, 15 I think. So that's a massive amount of points. I think Yuki came P8 as well. So good points for AlphaTauri there, with both of our cars finishing outside the points. It's just not good enough. You know, we do need a new teammate for next season. Somebody who is better equipped to drive this car. Obviously towards the end of the season, you can see now we're on round 18 of 20. There are of course 20 races in the calendar. Where I am right now, we're on round 18. So when I get to the last episode of the season, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we will speak about in the end of that video our next teammate for next season, and I will let you guys pick who our teammate is. I'll give you a few options of who we can buy and who we can sign, and I'll probably put a poll in the comments of the video and you can vote on the poll on who you want to see as our next teammate. But Callum Ilott, he's just not cutting it, you know. P17, it just wasn't good enough. But yeah, unfortunately, boys, we did lose the footage for the Singapore Grand Prix, but and this video, of course, there was no gameplay, but I hope you enjoyed the little just talk through. Really feels more like a podcast than you know, an F1 video, because we didn't actually go through any of the race. Luckily got a few screenshots from the race which I was going to use in the thumbnail of the video, so we do have actual some content from the video, you know. But yeah, it's just very unfortunate that I did delete that video. Lesson learned for the future, it won't happen again. If you want to see the next race, which I believe is Suzuka Grand Prix in Japan, of course, if you just want to see that video, get this one to 10 likes and it will go straight up on the channel. But yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe, you know the vibes, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy.